All right, so we talked NHL, we talked NBA. Now let's talk college basketball. Who's the best team in college basketball right now? I'm going to go through every conference and kind of give you guys my pick to win it as conference championship season is beginning right now. And then I'm going to go through who I think has a real chance to make a run in the tournament. So let's begin. Let's just going to go conference by conference, starting with the America East. Right now, we got UMBC at 14-2, Vermont at 12-4. UMBC's won 9 games in a row. My hot take is that I actually think they are bound for a loss. I think they are going to be upset. I will take Vermont to win America East for an auto bid into March Madness. We have the AAC. South Florida right now is on top of this conference at 13-3, but Wichita State right behind them with 12 wins, Tulsa with 11 wins. South Florida's won 7 in a row. I think South Florida is the best team in this conference, and I think South Florida gets the job done. They win this conference, and they're headed to March Madness. The Atlantic 10, St. Louis is 15-2. They're 27-3 overall. They've won just 2 in a row, but they are 19-0 at home, undefeated. I like St. Louis to advance here and win the Atlantic 10 and punch their ticket into the March Madness tournament. In the ACC, Duke is the best team in this ACC. They're undefeated at home as well. They've won 7 in a row. They're 10-1 on the road, 28-2 overall, 16-1 in conference. Virginia's been good. Miami's been good. Miami is ranked net right now. I don't think either of those teams are better than Duke. I think Duke is the best team in the ACC, and I think they are one of those teams that could legitimately have a shot at winning the whole thing. So Duke, in my opinion, they are winning the AAC. They're going to be a top 4 seed. They're going to be a top 2 seed in March Madness. Down in the ASUN, Central Arkansas is 15-3. So is Austin Peay. Those two schools are tied up. Central Arkansas has won back-to-back. Austin Peay has lost back-to-back. But I think Austin Peay is going to get the job done. I think they come out, they beat Central Arkansas in the finals, and they will win the ASUN. In the Big 12, Arizona is really, really good this year. They're 28-2. They've looked incredible. They're 8-1 on the road, 16-1 at home. They've won 5 in a row. They just clinched the regular season conference title over Houston and Texas Tech. I do really like the Texas Tech squad. I think Texas Tech has a great team this year. I think they could make some noise in the tournament. However, I think Arizona is winning the Big 12 conference title, and they are again going to be a top 1 or 2 seed in March Madness. Over in the Big East, UConn and St. John's are battling it out. Both teams are 17-2. St. John's won it last year. I think UConn gets revenge this year and gets it. I think they win the Big East, and they will be punching their ticket to March Madness. But St. John's will be there as well, and Villanova should be there as well. They're 23-7 overall. Villanova's putting together a nice little season. In the Big Sky, Portland State, what a season they've had. They're 13-5, 19-10 overall. I think Portland State is the best team in this conference. There's definitely a possibility for an upset. Montana State has looked good lately. They've won 3 in a row. But I think Portland State is the better team. I'll take Portland State to win the Big Sky. And over in the Big South, High Point is 15-1 in conference, 27-4 overall. They've won 11 games in a row. It would take a miracle for one of these teams like Radford or Winthrop to upset High Point, so I'm going to go with High Point in this conference. In the Big Ten, Michigan has been on a roll. They are 13-1 at home. They're undefeated on the road, 27-2 overall, 17-1. Their biggest contender is their in-state rival, Michigan State. Can the Spartans upset the Wolverines? I am going to go with yes. I think Michigan State actually does get the upset over Michigan, wins the Big Ten, and finds themselves in March Madness as one of the top 3 or 4 seeds in the tournament. But Michigan will be there too, and they've had a great season. In the Big West, Hawaii is actually right now leading the Big West at 13-5. They're tied with UC Irvine, both schools 13-5. But I don't think either of those teams are going to make a run. I'm picking the upset. I think UC San Diego, they're 21-9, 11-7 in conference. They've won 5 games in a row. They are getting hot at the right moment. I'm going to go with UCSD to come out of nowhere and win the Big West. The Colonial Athletic currently being led by UNCW at 15-3. But again, there's some hot teams right now. Charleston has won 5 in a row. They're 21-10. Hofstra has also won 4 in a row. They're 21-10. Monmouth's won 3 in a row. I'm going with Charleston to win this conference. They've won 5 games. They're on a roll. They're only 1 game back in conference of UNCW. I think they get them in the conference title game. Conference USA right now, Sam Houston is 13-5 with 5 straight wins. Western Kentucky is 11-7 with 6 straight wins. But none of those schools have touched Liberty. Liberty is right now 24-5 overall, 16-2 in conference. They've won 10 games on the road, 13 at home. I like Liberty a lot. I think they win Conference USA, punch their ticket to March Madness. In the Horizon Conference, Wright State currently leading Robert Morris, but Robert Morris, luck out. They've won 8 games in a row. They are 22-10 now. They were just 14-10 8 games ago, but they are on a really, really hot streak. I got Robert Morris riding that wave into the conference title game. I think they will win the conference title game, and I do believe Robert Morris is heading back to the tournament. Continue to move on over. We get the Ivy League. Yale is playing very well. They're 10-3, 22-5 overall. They're far and away, I think, the best team in the Ivy League. I'd be shocked if anybody can get past Yale in this conference tournament. In the Metro Atlantic Conference, Merrimack is at 17-3, playing very well. And again, this is one of those where St. Peter's might have a chance. St. Peter's is probably the next best team in this conference, but I think Merrimack's played too well. I think they will win this conference and make it to March Madness. Howard is leading the Mid-Eastern. They have a 10-3 conference record. They're 20-10 overall. They've won 5 games in a row. They look very strong. I got Howard advancing. I think they make it. I think they're going to be in the tournament. In the Mid-American, Miami, Ohio, one of the best stories of the year. They are undefeated at 30-0, 17-0 in conference, 16-0 at home, 13-0 on the road. They've won 30 games in a row. If Akron can get by them and win this conference, I would be shocked. I think Miami, Ohio, this is their year. They're going to make it. They're going to probably be a 7 or 8 seed in the bracket, and they're going to be one of those teams that everybody is rooting for come March. In the Missouri Valley, Belmont at 16-4. Love to see Belmont having a good season. They currently lead Bradley, who's 13-7. I think Belmont will defeat either Bradley or Illinois State in the finals for this conference. Utah State is once again leading the Mountain West. They had a very good season last year, but New Mexico, San Diego State are right there, and Grand Canyon as well, just a couple games back out of the lead. But look out for Colorado State. Colorado State has won 8 games in a row. They're now 11-8 in conference. They look like a very strong team. I would be interested to see if Colorado State, could the Rams pull off a miracle run and make it into the top of this conference? I'm going to predict no. I think the finals will be Utah State versus San Diego State, and I'm going to go with Utah State to get the job done and win that game to win the Mountain West in what could be one of its last years as a conference. Over in the Northeast, LIU is 15-3, Central Connecticut 12-6. I'm going to go with LIU to win this conference. They've won 3 in a row. They look good. They're 12-1 at home. They've struggled on the road, but very good team at home, and I think they will do well in the conference tournament. In the Ohio Valley Conference, you got Tennessee State at 15-5, tied right now with Morehead State. I'll pick Morehead State to win this conference. They've won 7 in a row. They've looked very, very strong. I will say they've struggled on the road. That could be their downfall. In the Patriot League, Navy is 17-1 in conference. They have looked almost unbeatable in conference, and I think they will soar to a conference title win. They've won 13 games in a row. Over in the SEC, Florida has won 10 straight. They look like the clear best team in the SEC now with a 15-2 conference record, 24-6 overall. Of course, they won it all last year. I think they at least bounce back with another win in the SEC conference this year. Can they follow it up by defending their title? We'll talk about that in a sec. In the Southern Conference, ETSU with a 13-5 record. They look very, very strong. I think they will win that conference. And in the Southland, SFA 20-2. But McNeese State has won 8 games in a row. They're 19-3 in conference, only a game back of SFA, and they've won 8 in a row. I'm going to pick McNeese State to ride the momentum and win the Southland Conference. The Southwestern Atlantic Conference, BCU is 14-3 with 4 wins in a row in conference. I love BCU. I think they're a good team. I think they will win this division. In the Summit League, North Dakota State is 14-2 in conference, and St. Thomas 12-4. I'd love to go with the upset here because I do root for the St. Thomas Tommies, but I am going to go with North Dakota State. They've looked like the best team in this conference all year long. In the Sun Belt, I'm going with Troy. Troy does lead this conference at 12-6. I think Marshall could give them a fight. Coastal Carolina could give them a fight. There's a couple teams in here. A lot of teams right now are tied up in the Sun Belt at 11-7. It's going to be a fun conference tournament to watch. However, I do think that Troy will pull it out. In the WCC, it's obviously Gonzaga, St. Mary's. Every year, those are the two teams. St. Mary's has won 8 in a row. They are 16-2, and they've been playing very well. I got to give St. Mary's credit. However, I think Gonzaga gets revenge and wins this conference. I think they ultimately are punching their ticket to yet another one of their, March Madness. Could this finally be their year? Everyone always thinks this could be Gonzaga's year. And finally, in the Western Athletic Conference, Utah Valley at 12-4, leading Cal Baptist and Utah Tech. And I think Utah Valley will pull this one out. They've won 4 in a row. They look strong going into the tournament. I like Utah Valley to punch their ticket. But who's the best team, right? I think there's really 5 teams. The best team in the country right now, I think there's 5 that stand out to me. It's Duke, Arizona, Michigan, UConn, and Florida. They are the top 5 ranked teams right now in the country in the AP poll. I don't trust Iowa State. They've lost back-to-back. I think they're kind of fallen off. Houston and Michigan State, I'd like to see a little bit more out of. Personally, I think the best team in the league is Arizona. I think what they have done in a very strong Big 12 conference is really, really impressive. I think the ACC is a little bit weaker this year. Duke is 28-2. They are the number 1 ranked team in the country, but I like Arizona, and I still think Florida. I think Florida at ranked number 5 is actually underrated. I would put them ahead of UConn, and I think I'd put them ahead of Michigan as well. I mean, look, Florida has they won it all last year, and they're proving it again. They're proving that last year was not a fluke. So I think Florida deserves to be up there. I will say they have lost 6 games. All the teams ahead of them have only lost 2 or 3 games. So I get it. I do. But Florida's on a roll right now. They've won 10 in a row. They look like the dominant team that won the entire thing last year, which is why I do believe in Florida this year. I think if Florida stays hot, keeps their momentum at the right time, they can easily win the whole thing. That's going to do it for this episode of Coast to Coast Sports. Once again, my name is Levi. As always, if you like the video, subscribe to the channel. If you don't, then I guess, you stuck around for no reason. But yeah, as always, like the video, subscribe, comment. We'll see you guys tomorrow.